It is an honor, actually it's a very humbling honor, to be in the presence, the physical presence, of the men and women of Ashraf3, of Camp Liberty and Ashraf3. I am honored to be in your presence, and I want to thank you for your invitation. As we briefly toured the exhibit hall, and where there are names and faces and history associated with the sacrifice and courage of those who have gone before you, and 40-plus years, in addition to embracing your goal of a free and open and pluralistic Iran, you have shed your blood and you have signed your own personal Declaration of Independence, and you will not be satisfied until that day for you and your children, your grandchildren, is realized in Tehran. And I admire it. The world admires it. And the rest of the world needs to understand that we're not dealing with a moderate regime in Iran. I frankly take personal umbrage when I read about it in some of the publications in my own country. No moderate regime suppresses dissent. No moderate regime subjects repression, imprisonment, torture, and death those who dissent. No moderate regime does everything it can to displace and to disassemble those who would gather in protest. No moderate regime acts like the mullahs in Iran. No moderate regime sends terrorist support to South Sudan, to Tehran. No moderate regime is responsible for the instability in the Middle East. And from time to time, I think maybe our ambition is too low. Our goals are not high enough. From time to time, as I take a look at this moderate regime, maybe the regime should be viewed as a foreign terrorist organization, because at its heart, that's exactly what it is. And I think of the exhibit that I just walked through. It's a country that you want to take back. And for 40 years, as you take a look at those men and women, you listen to that history, you just keep coming, and you just keep coming, and you just keep coming. But it's that free and independent. We admire your courage, your resiliency, your bravery, your determination, and you will achieve what you sought out so many years ago. May God continue to bless you in your march to Tehran.
Thank you. Thank you very much, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to be here. I'm here with my wife, Hadassah. Hadassah is the child of survivors of the Nazi Holocaust in Europe. And she sees in the exhibit that we just saw echoes of the Holocaust. And she knows, as I do, when survivors of the Holocaust said never again, it meant never again. And it meant particularly never again will a regime like the one that has captured a great nation and rules in Tehran, never again will that regime be able to treat people as we see they were treated in this exhibit. You're very kind to thank us Americans and people from around the world who have supported your cause, but honestly, you have given us the opportunity to be true to our national principles and universal principles. The Declaration of Independence, almost 250 years ago. What did they write? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that every person is created equally by God and endowed by God with the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those rights weren't given by God only to Americans. They were given to every child born, every young person whose life was cut short by the brutality of the Iranian regime. So you have given us the opportunity to be true to our national principles. In some sense, if you'll go with me for a moment, I feel that I am representing the spirit of my dear friend and your great advocate, Senator John S. McCain. John believed in this cause. He fought for it with all his heart. There were people at the outset who told him, stay away, the establishment, stay away. You don't know about this group. John spent the time to learn. John came here to Ashraf3 in 2017, and he came back and he said to me, Joe, there's a new Ashraf that's going to rise. I can't see much of it now. It's on a beautiful location in Albania, but I know these people, and it's going to end up being something magnificent, and it is. So often we fight for causes and we never know whether we've achieved anything. It meant so much to all of us working by your side that the residents of Ashraf Camp Liberty were finally liberated from Iran, but to come here today to see this magnificent community that you built, it's miraculous. And it teaches us lessons. One is that the residents of Camp Liberty and Ashraf, no matter what brutality was imposed on them by the Iranians, never gave up. That was Churchill, remember, never, never, never give up. And the other lesson here, walking through these halls, there's a mourning that goes on, sadness, and yet ultimately this exhibition is inspiring. And the whole story of the Ashrafis, and with the support of people from around the world who are represented here. Well, one day we're going to come together in Ashraf4, and it's going to be in Tehran, Iran, and we're going to have a great party. God bless you, and thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to share with you a revelation that I experienced yesterday along with another number of visitors to Ashraf3. We participated in a policy panel, and afterwards we were invited to dinner with about 100 of the ladies of Ashraf3. And I, aside from Madame Javi, have met a number of ladies, but I've never heard them speak before. I walked away from that session, ladies and gentlemen, completely blown away by their sense of purpose and their patriotism. I am absolutely convinced that with your ladies at your side, that the day will come when you make your country free. Thank you very much.
Salam Ashraf. It's a great pleasure to be standing here in front of you today and to be able to speak with you and contribute to the important debate upon Iran. I would like to begin by giving my best wishes to you in Ashraf3 on behalf of the cross-party British delegation here today. This is the second time that I've had the privilege to visit you, and this time I hope to learn more about your stories, experiences, memories, and testimonies of the regime's oppression through your new museum. The people here are the living embodiment, people who have documented the regime's oppression for future Iranian generations. And you are the proof of a proud, brave nation that will never succumb to the regime's brutality and vicious persecution through acts of terrorism. But there are two issues that we will continue to raise repeatedly through our conferences and debates to Parliament. The first is that we need to hold the regime to account for the 1988 massacre of thousands of political prisoners in Iran. Second, We want to see governments, including the United Kingdom government, prescribe the IRGC and all its forms in Iran as a terrorist organisation. These two measures are very important because it will deny the regime the impunity as well as the funds it needs to continue its crackdown on the protests taking place in Iran across the past couple of years. Iran's current regime is a threat not only to the people of Iran, but also to peace across the Middle East and the international community. The success of the Iranian people and your movement to bring about freedom in Iran will help the world. That is why we support you. And that is why we will continue to support you. And that's why we'll continue with our struggle until Iran is free. Thank you.